Take a slow breath before we begin. Not because something dramatic is about to happen, but because most of what matters in life begins quietly. There is a moment many of us know well. You wake up, and before your feet touch the floor, your mind is already racing. Messages waiting, expectations pressing, a sense that you are behind before the day has even started. The world feels loud, urgent, demanding, and somewhere in that noise, there is a quieter question trying to speak. How am I supposed to live well in the middle of all this? That question is older than any of us. It has been asked by people who carried great responsibility and by people who lived unseen lives. It has been asked in times of peace and in times of chaos. And the answers that endure are rarely flashy. They do not promise quick relief or instant success. They speak instead about inner strength, about discipline, about purpose that does not depend on praise, and about becoming the kind of person who can remain steady when everything around them is not. This reflection is not about escaping pressure. It is about learning how to stand within it without being ruled by it. We live in a culture that trains us to look outward for confirmation. We are taught, often without being told directly, that our worth will be measured by reaction, by attention, by approval, by speed, by visibility. And slowly, almost without noticing, many of us begin to shape our lives around being seen rather than being grounded, around being impressive rather than being whole. But there is another way to live, a quieter way, one that begins not with changing the world, but with governing the self. True strength does not start with control over circumstances. It starts with control over response. Not repression, not denial, but awareness. The ability to notice what rises within you, fear, anger, impatience, envy, restlessness, and to choose not to be driven by it. This kind of discipline is not about becoming rigid. It is about becoming free. When you can pause before reacting, you regain your agency. When you can observe your thoughts without obeying every one of them, you become less predictable to pressure. And when you learn to act from values rather than impulse, your life gains a steadiness that no external approval can provide. Most people want influence. Fewer people want self-governance. But influence without self-governance eventually collapses under its own weight. Responsibility exposes what discipline has not prepared. That is why the deepest leadership always begins inward, long before it is visible, long before it is recognized. There is a form of dignity that does not announce itself. It does not raise its voice to prove it is present. It does not need to win every argument or defend every position. It is felt more than seen. And it comes from knowing who you are accountable to when no one is watching. This dignity is quiet because it is secure. It does not need to perform. It does not need to compare. It does not need to rush. In a world addicted to urgency, calm becomes a form of resistance. Not the calm of avoidance, but the calm of clarity. The calm that comes from knowing what is yours to carry and what is not. The calm that understands that not every demand deserves your obedience, and not every opinion deserves your attention. Pressure often disguises itself as importance. Everything feels immediate. Everything feels critical. Everything feels like it must be decided now. But a disciplined inner life learns to ask better questions. Is this aligned with my values, or is it simply loud? Is this truly urgent, or am I being pulled into someone else's anxiety? Is this reaction serving my purpose, or just my ego? These questions slow us down in the best possible way. They return us to intention. Purpose is not the same as ambition. Ambition is often about arrival. Purpose is about direction. When you live from purpose, you stop measuring your life only by outcomes. You begin to measure it by integrity, by faithfulness, by whether your actions match your convictions, even when no reward is visible. This kind of life does not feel exciting all the time. And that is important to say honestly. There will be boredom. There will be repetition. There will be days when doing the right thing feels painfully ordinary, when restraint feels unnoticed, when discipline feels unrewarded, when progress feels invisible. This is where motivation rooted in hype fails. Hype needs constant stimulation. It needs emotion to stay alive. It needs novelty. It burns bright and burns out quickly. But motivation rooted in values endures. It survives boredom. It survives delay. It survives obscurity. Because it is not asking, how does this make me feel right now? It is asking, what kind of person am I becoming through this? Becoming is slower than achieving, but it lasts longer. Every day, whether we intend to or not, we are being formed by what we consume, by how we respond, by what we practice repeatedly. Formation does not require big moments. It happens in small, unseen choices, in how you speak when you are tired, in how you treat people when there is nothing to gain, in how you handle frustration when no one is there to notice. The person you are becoming is shaped far more by these moments than by your public milestones. This is why unseen discipline matters so much. It is easy to act with integrity when people are watching. It is much harder when there is no audience. But it is precisely in those private moments that character is built. Consistency is not glamorous. Restraint is not celebrated. Self-regulation does not trend. And yet, these are the foundations of a meaningful life. When obstacles appear, and they will, it is tempting to see them as interruptions, as signs that something has gone wrong, as reasons to abandon the path. But obstacles are not always detours. Often they are the work. Resistance reveals where our values are shallow and where they are strong. Delay exposes whether our motivation is rooted in conviction or convenience. Opposition teaches us patience, humility, and endurance, qualities that cannot be learned in comfort. Perseverance, then, is not about forcing outcomes. It is about allowing pressure to refine rather than harden us. You do not need every situation to go your way to live well. You need the ability to respond well when it doesn't. This reframes success in a profound way. Success becomes less about what you accumulate and more about what you preserve. Your integrity, your clarity, your ability to act in alignment with your values even when the outcome is uncertain. Faithfulness over outcomes does not mean passivity. It means responsibility without obsession, effort without attachment, commitment without illusion. You do your part fully. You release what is not yours to control. This creates a quiet confidence. Not the confidence that assumes everything will work out perfectly, but the confidence that knows you can remain steady regardless. Hope without illusion is different from optimism. Optimism expects favorable results. Hope endures even when results are delayed, unclear, or disappointing. It is a grounded hope, an honest hope, one that does not deny difficulty but refuses to surrender meaning. This kind of hope is not loud. It does not make promises it cannot keep. It simply says, I will continue to act with integrity today, and then it does, day after day. This is how lives of depth are built, not through constant breakthroughs, but through quiet faithfulness. You may not see immediate change. Others may move faster. Louder paths may seem more rewarding, but speed is not the same as direction, and noise is not the same as progress. When you govern yourself well, you become less dependent on validation. You stop outsourcing your worth to reaction. You begin to move from an internal compass rather than external pressure. This does not make life easy, but it makes it coherent. And coherence is a rare and powerful thing. As we come toward the close of this reflection, consider this gently. You do not need to be extraordinary to live with meaning. You need to be intentional. You do not need to control the future. You need to be responsible for the present. You do not need to prove your worth. You need to live from it. The world will continue to rush. Expectations will continue to press. Uncertainty will remain part of the human condition. But within all of that, you can choose a steadier way. A way rooted in discipline rather than display. In purpose rather than pressure. In becoming rather than achieving. In hope without illusion. Take one step forward today, not a dramatic one, but a faithful one. And then tomorrow take another. quietly, consistently, with dignity. That is how strength is built. That is how meaning is sustained. And that is enough.